We've got Nischal Maheshwari, market expert, with us on the show this morning. Mr. Maheshwari, thank you so much for joining us and good to have you back on News9. Help us understand what's really going on in the market. Why are markets losing steam?
Hi, thanks for having me. I think there have been a few issues basically which are still lingering on. And I think one of them is basically no clarity as far as the tariffs are concerned. I think that is one of the issues basically which is keeping the market held back a bit basically. And the other thing remains to be is tepid earnings of the current quarter. If you really look at it, whether it is IT, whether it is banking, I think the larger sectors basically who have declared till now have been pretty tepid. The
Right.
expectations were also basically muted. So it's not that it is below expectations, but it's been pretty tepid for the year. And the valuations are pretty steep. So that's why you are seeing this kind of muted response to response in the market.
Right. So let's take all these points one by one, Mr. Maheshwari, and let's begin first with quarterly earnings. And in fact, what I'm seeing on the boards right now is Bajaj Finserv, Bajaj Finance, which are due to announce their results today. Bajaj Finserv is down about 4.3%. Sir, Bajaj Finance is down about 5.5% or so in trade this morning. Are investors really now feeling the jitters of what they've seen from results across Q1 announced thus far? And I think about 85 odd companies are due to announce their results just today and about 100 this week. Are these jitters and this narrative around India's fundamentals being strong now being challenged by these quarterly earnings that we are reading, sir?
So I don't see any reason about the India fundamentals that continue to remain pretty strong. But the earnings basically after three very strong years of earnings where India Incorporated delivered high double-digit earnings, basically I think this is expected to be a muted year.
Okay.
And that is what it is turning out to be.
All right. And is there something to worry about India's consumption story? And is that something that we are also now seeing by way of auto sales data? And of course, not great expectations on the finance side also with companies like Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv.
So consumption, I think, is now started seeing some green shoots. That is what I think some of the FMCG companies who have declared the results have been talking about. And given on the background that you have got a interest rate cut of around 100 basis point, you have got a tax cut which leaves more money in the hands of people and a good monsoon. So market is expecting that second half of the current year consumption will start showing up pretty good. So that's the way the expectations are. Now let's see how it all pans out.
All right. And what about India's IT sector, sir? Because India's IT sector has also been feeling the pain of all that is happening globally, especially with the US, the Fed not cutting interest rates, not too much money in the hands of corporate America to let businesses offshore more work here to India. And at the same time, Donald Trump now telling big tech not to hire people from India. Overall, the sentiment, even again, what we are seeing in quarterly earnings of the IT pack seems to be obviously in some major distress right now. How long before, if at all, we see a recovery on the IT side?
So IT results have been muted, rather below expectation also in case of IT, some of the companies. So that's why you're seeing a sell-off happening in the IT sector. Most of the companies do not have a very strong visibility, at least for the second half, at least for the next 1 or 2 quarters. So they are not giving a very strong guidance. So I think that's why the market continues to remain a bit jittery on the IT sector. We have seen some sell-off happening. I think it is going to remain like this for at least a quarter or two.
Another quarter or two of pain likely to stay. And Mr. Maheshwari, the first point that you had made regarding some announcement on India's trade deal, a mini trade deal, interim trade deal with the United States, that's been all elusive. And of course, perhaps even the 1st August deadline is unlikely to be met, given what we are hearing of the US negotiators, trade negotiators coming down to India later in the month of August. Overall, the understanding was that markets had priced in tariffs, 26% tariffs was priced in by the markets soon after the April 2nd tariff announcements, Liberation Day announcements by Donald Trump. But now that we are closer to some sort of a trade deal perhaps in the making, and big question marks on that, of course, Overall, why are markets reacting negatively right now to no deal? A deal would, if anything, just be a bonus. But priced in 26% already, or do you think that wasn't really the right narrative?
So as you know, basically market doesn't like uncertainty. So once you are clear saying it's going to be 26, 30, 24, 14, whatever number it is, market immediately prices it in and basically goes ahead. Now this kind of uncertainty is basically is a mood killer basically. So that's why I believe that market is going to remain jittery till the number is out. And once the number is in, basically, if it is positive, you will see a big leg up. Or if it's negative, you will see one sharp correction, and that's the end of it. And that's what is, I think, the market is waiting for.
Okay, so apart from tariffs, are there any other specific triggers? Because quarterly earnings are now pretty much, more than halfway through. So at least the big companies have more or less announced their results. So Q1 is one of the uncertainties which is pretty much going out. We know tariff uncertainty is going to linger for another few weeks for sure. And there's hardly any likelihood of Fed Chair Jerome Powell cutting interest rates in the US. So are there any other triggers whatsoever that markets would be right now waiting for before we see some swing?
So I think consumption is one basically where I think market is waiting, saying that it comes back strongly, because I think growth is a bit weaker than what market was expecting. And the resurgence in consumption also, I think that is also market is awaiting. So I think post the monsoon season and the festival season, that's where market is going to be waiting for a direction, whether there is a strong demand in in the system or not. If there is a strong demand, you will start seeing a run up happening in the second quarter itself.
All right, Mr. Maheshwari, thank you so much for those inputs and thank you for your time and for being here with us on Newsline this morning.
Thank you.